Making music for a child's heart, body, and mind.
Hello, beautiful ones. Once again, you're welcome to this platform for another lesson. Last week, remember, we had a lesson on we've done object, that's seeking water. But today, we are looking at a different topic, and I know you are doing very well at home. Okay, what do we have today? We are also having signs. And in today's lesson, we're looking at a floating object. Take it after me. Say a floating object. Alright. And what are a floating objects? A floating objects are the objects that can float in the air. They float in the air because they are light. What makes objects to float, to stay float in the air, fly in the air, you may say? It's because they are light. If there are heavy ones, they cannot fly in the air. If they are heavy or thick, they can fly in the air. So because they are light, so that makes them to fly in the air. So let's look at some examples of objects that can float in the air. You can also call it a floating object. So examples include the paper, the jet, inflated balloon, nylon, kite, dried leaf, parachute, cotton. All these objects can fly in the air. For instance, I'm not referring to a book, because if you put a book down, it can fly in the air, it won't float. But if it's a piece of paper, when the wind blows, you can see the wind can blow the piece of paper and it flies. So what about jet? We know jet flies in the air. It stays. Do you think what makes aeroplane to move in the air? They move and they don't drop. We have inflated balloon. Some of you know we can do it at home. We get a balloon, inflate it, blow in air, and when it's bigger, you start pushing it and it goes upward. We also have nylon. Many a time when it's about to rain and heavy breeze, you start seeing nylons, dry leaves, things moving, flying, because the air blows them so they can move from one point and get there. We also have kite. I know you often prepare this. We make it ourselves using a paper and a broomstick to make it, and you throw it up there in the air. It starts flying, going. We also have another example like dried leaves. If a dry leaf is here and the air is right away, the breeze will start pushing it and will start moving from that point. You could get to a known, somewhere else that you may not understand where it has gone to. We have parachute. This parachute is often used in the aeroplane for those that travel by air. And in case maybe there want to be an accident, just like those that travel by water will use a water floater in case of accident, or we call it. So if they want to happen like maybe any plane crash, those are how we put it on, and it will make them to float in the air. They won't crash and die. And we have cotton. Cotton is just like cotton wool. It's a plant that it can just float in the air and move from to another distance. Okay, right now we have so many we can mention, or to mention but a few. So before we just pause a little and go into an experiment to look at some examples of this object that can float in the air. A few examples of the air floating object. This is kite, which I say you'll be making it. You just get a paper, we tie it to the broomstick, and it flies in the air. You can see it can float in the air. Now we have another one, rocket. This is used as it can float in the air. It flies in the air. The people that go to the moon, to the sun, they use this to go very far, and it stays in the air. Here we have feathers, and you know this is gotten from birds. They can stay in the air. They are air floating objects. If a feather stays there, the wind blows, it goes, it can move and go far, and that is it. We have another object, a floating object, birds. All kinds of birds, called it hawk, they can float and fly in the air. Okay, guess what? Another air floating object. I know you know it. Can I hear you from you there? Aeroplane. You know, aeroplane flies in the air. I want to be a pilot. Aeroplane. Like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. So it floats in the air. Here comes another one, another air floating object, cotton. Say it after me, cotton is a plant. It floats in the air. Wow, just this is inflated balloons. I hope you know it, which we use to decorate in your birthday, in wedding ceremonies. They can float in the air. They are one of the air floating objects. Here we go. This is another beautiful one, air floating object, and this is called a parachute. Say after me, parachute is used for the people that are traveling by air, like aeroplane. Not like those that travel by water in case of water mishap, but this one in case of air accident, they put it on and you can see someone just like a swing. Someone can sit right there and float in the air without dying or crashed. Beautiful! This just we are taking the last one but not the least. That is one of the air floating objects. I know you know this. Can I hear you from there? Hot air balloon. Said it? Hot air balloon. It floats in the air. Oh, really beautiful. We've come to the end of today's lesson. And as we call it a wrap for today, don't forget that our lesson was on air floating objects. And we talk about this float in the air because they are alive. And we mentioned, I know you can remember those pictures I showed to you. Objects that can float on the air because they are alive. Don't forget the parachute, the hot air balloon, the kite, the birds that float in the air, the kite that you can make it yourself at home. And I know I want to tell you this. As we take a recap, do experiment at home. Get a paper, make a kite, and make it float in the air. Remember that I love you. See you in another time.